reviews, discussions, and theories about films in horror, sci-fi, and genre. This is the Horror Deconstruction. Like, share, and subscribe to hear more.
What's up, everybody? It's the Horror Deconstruction. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, most likely on YouTube. Give us a like, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell icon. Hit that thumbs up. Let the people know you listen to the show with your host, Komp and
Crunchy.
And today's film is
Smile 2022.
Smile 2022. After witnessing a bizarre traumatic incident involving a patient, Dr. Rose Cotter starts experiencing frightening occurrences that she can't explain. Rose must confront her troubling past in order to survive and escape her horrifying new reality. Written and directed by Parker Finn, starring Sosie Bacon, Jesse T. Usher, and Kyle Gallner. I just realized who Sosie Bacon is now that I said it.
Who is?
She's Sosie Bacon is the daughter of Kevin Bacon. I didn't even think about that. That's why she looks the way she looks. I realized it with the nose and everything. Anyway, so yes, Danny, why did we pick Smile?
Because it's new.
Yes, it's the #1 horror film of the year, apparently.
More than Terrifier 2.
Yes, because it was, I think, $30
They had
million.
a really good marketing.
Oh, yes, excellent marketing. We'll get to that. So Smile, I think, was maybe like under 30 million, around 30 million, and it made so far
17 million, and it made
17 million.
215.
Yes, so that makes this the biggest horror film of the year. The most talked about is, I think, well, they probably, I guess, would both be the most talked about, but I guess Terrifier 2 is talked about on the internet at least. But Smile is one of those old school like horror movies that come out. Not like,
yeah,
you know what I mean. Well, I'll get to my issues with this movie, like I'm sure like you will. But you want to talk about the marketing for this movie?
Yeah, I mean, I was seeing things that they were putting people at like ball games and shit, just like smiling in the background, which is pretty great.
Yeah, I instantly I knew what it was as soon as I saw the lady in the thing, and she was like, because I didn't even read her shirt. Her shirt said Smile on it. I didn't even pay attention, but she's just standing there smiling, and they must have paid a lot of money because it was right behind the batter's box. So that's a lot of fucking money to but this is like a whole. This is
Imagine you're playing freaking. You're in a game and you see that. I'd be scared.
That'd be funny if like they threw off the game and then she was like a fan of the team, but she had to stay in character. She's like, oh fuck, you know what I mean? But so anyway, this movie concerns Sosie Bacon as a woman who has a trauma in her youth. Apparently, she. As we're told from the beginning, that her mother had committed suicide. She sees her mother dead on the bed. She and her sister.
Well,
lived
actually,
through this.
I mean, she saw her mother alive on the bed.
I know, that's true, and we'll get to that. But eventually, she grows up. She becomes like a therapist, right, for the mentally ill.
Well, for emergency therapy, though.
Emergency therapy. So is mentally ill the correct phrase, Danny? Do you know? We're gonna be canceled.
I am mentally ill, and I'm not offended by it.
So am I. I think 90% of everybody who listens to the show or who's probably walking through the street is probably mentally ill. It's not funny. She's married to Jesse T. Usher, if you know, obviously.
Well, she's fiance. She's fiance.
Oh, I thought she was married to him. Okay. No. So her fiance is obviously the speedster from The Boys.
A-Train.
A-Train, a character I wish they would strangle him. He's a very good actor, but I was like, I hate that fucking character.
He's really good at being an asshole.
He really is. He's great at being an asshole. Anyway,
when I saw him in this role, I was like, they're going to make him good? And, like, I was picturing how it could go. And, you know, he ends up being an asshole, so.
Yeah, it would be great if he ran into somebody and they exploded, just like in The Boys.
That's how he defeats the ghost.
Yeah, he runs right through it and the ghost explodes.
And it's just like ectoplasm, though. It's not blood.
Anyway, so, yeah, and also there's her ex-boyfriend, played by Kyle Gallner. I know I've seen him. Oh, he was in Scream. Was he the Vince Schneider? Was he the asshole, I guess? You didn't see the latest Scream movie, right? I'm not talking about the first Scream. I'm talking about Scream Part 12 or whatever.
He was also in Jennifer's Body and the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street,
he was one of the.
I
think he was one of the rock band guys.
Okay, is he the main guy in the band? Like
he might be. Jerk? He might be. He's an actor that he's like very recognizable. He's very good. So then also her sister, he plays Joel. Her sister is, I believe, not Colin Stacy, Jillian Ginzer? I'm not sure. I don't know. I can't recognize her. Her sister's blonde in the movie, but I can't recognize the actor in here. Also, Cal Penn from the infamous...
Jillian Zinser.
Is that her? Jillian Zinser?
And there's also CW.
There's also the famous Cal Penn, who plays Dr. Morgan Desai. A very small role, but he was from... was it Howlin' Larry Get White Castle. What the hell was that movie about?
That's the
the
pothead
trilogy.
one. I don't know.
Yeah, the pothead movie. Something goes to White Castle, and then he came out of the closet. Very interesting. I didn't expect that because he was playing such a horny man. It was funny because also the guy who played Doogie.
Maybe he's bisexual.
No, he
Harold
says he's gay.
Kumar.
Yeah, Harold and Kumar. But also, like, the funny thing is that this one of the funny. I didn't see the third one. I didn't actually see any of the movies, but I saw parts that were pretty funny. But Doogie Howser's in those movies, and like obviously he's gay in real life. But in the movie, he's playing like a really he's basically playing the same character that he was in How I Met Your Mother, a show I never watched and never thought was funny. But he's playing like a really horny guy, like very like cancelable kind of character. And there's a part, it was so funny. I'm gonna say something very vile, but he's in a room and there's like he's trying to hit on this woman like very like badly. And the woman says like, "I thought you were gay," and he goes, "Yeah, I'm gay for that pussy," and he keeps trying. It's funny. It's so stupid. It's in the third movie. Anyway, back to this film. After that great line, so we see Rose Cotter is, she's obviously traumatized. Have you ever had a nightmare where like it automatically is cinematically beautiful of a trauma in your life? Or
I have actually.
Yeah, I mean, do you?
Yeah.
My dreams don't really necessarily make
But
sense.
also, I mean, you've never had a vivid dream like that, like a traumatic.
No,
dream?
I've had vivid dreams, but for some reason, for me, like they make sense in world, but when I wake up, they don't make sense. They're like very strange and abstract.
Well, I
believe it in the
those
moment.
too, but no, I've had some like this could be filmed and it would be a movie dreams.
Yeah. Okay. So I was like, was it directed by a really good director? It was like it wasn't
directed by my fucked up subconscious.
Yeah. But so she has this trauma. She goes and her patient is played by Caitlin Stacy, Laura Weaver. She's the woman whose face is on the poster of this movie, like the smiling face. And she, you should have had more of her because she has a very.
There's I don't know if you know Arrested Development, but there's a song where I believe it's in reference to the uncle smoking pot. And it says the song like, "Go ahead and smile, smile, smile," and it's like in my head when I think of this movie.
How was the final season of Arrested Development? I saw the first half.
It was better than the fourth one, but it wasn't.
Yeah, because I saw the fourth one on Netflix, and I was like, all right. And then I didn't.
The fourth one was not good. So
yeah, it was a disaster because you can tell none of the actors were in the same room.
The fifth one was like very hit or
Did it
miss.
wrap everything up at least?
It did.
Okay.
And it kind of had like a disturbing ending actually, but like it's very hit or miss. Like,
yeah, there's not going to be
funny or it's not funny, and that's it.
I think we could confidently say there'll be no more Arrested Development because the mother obviously passed away, and the father was like accused of being transphobic and all that shit, and the mother even had a problem with
Wasn't
the
he
guy
playing a transgender man?
Yeah, I think what it was.
Or something, or what was he playing? A trans woman?
Apparently, what happened? He was playing a trans woman who had like I think it was called Transparent, the show.
Okay.
In fact, and I think that
and he's transphobic.
Well, the thing is that I think he had somebody who was either doing his makeup or somebody who was doing his clothing or an assistant that was trans, and they said that he was hitting on them or treated them like shit, so he got fired off that show. So it was like a Kevin Spacey thing where Kevin Spacey got fired from House of Cards for doing whatever God knows what weird shit he was doing. And like I don't think he was doing the level of shit Kevin Spacey was doing, which ruined House of Cards.
Shit with like kids or something. I thought.
Yeah, but I think he actually won that.
We should talk about.
Yeah,
Smile.
we should talk about this movie. So back to Smile, but with this movie, she has this patient played by Laura Weaver who was in I think this guy's first movie, or no, one of his first shorts. The director. He made a movie called Laura Doesn't Sleep, and I was trying to watch it, and it was basically the same kind of scares this had. Mm-hmm. He also did something called The Hide Behind. So he did the short in 2020, which I think the company that made this film, they saw that, and then they went and did this, and it's like a very generic sort of. And they did the same thing. I think they did.
I feel like
this
movie is not generic.
Do you? Okay.
I like.
I think it's better than average, but I think to me. I feel like it's what's that company that we always talk about? The ones that make cheap movies, but they make a lot of money. It feels like a Blumhouse produced version of It Follows, because it's essentially the same idea. It's like, oh, it looks like somebody who's trying to get me, and it won't stop.
I
and
feel like
exact
it's a little better, to be honest.
You think it's better than It Follows?
Well, no, not better than It Follows, but better than a typical Blues.
No, I think it's better than average. No, I agree with that. I like the fucking score is great. I love the soundtrack.
I mean, I would
for
say
this
is like a lower level A24 almost.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Like, I don't want to sound like, oh, this is a complete shit movie. It's just, but I was like falling asleep.
I mean, there were points that like legitimately actually creeped me out. Like,
which ones?
Like, just the first scene when the lady's smiling after freaking out was like, oh my god, actually.
Do you think these people like? Do you think these people actually smiled, or they put like some sort of filter to make the smile like more? I think you can tell. Obviously, some of them are really like exaggerated smiles.
I think I read something on the wiki about how they worked with Doll-E, which is an AI generator thing.
Okay, so then because it looked like that. It looked like that.
Some of it did, but I mean, there are other ones that where you could tell it's a real smile.
There are apps on phones where they can make you look like you're sad or you're crying, and they're like pretty funny. Because there's one app where it's like a woman who or somebody puts up a camera phone to people like on the opposite side of an escalator, and it's obviously like people that are just going through their day bored or miserable, and then you just see these smiles just automatically appear in their faces, and it looks so fucking scary. It's like the funniest thing in the world. I'll send you that clip later. But yeah, the smiles look very like AI generated in this movie, and plus they're like supposed to be like supernaturally smiling, all weird. But
yeah, I mean that kind of is appropriate for like.
And it's a very simple premise. I mean, it's very clearly a ripoff of It Follows. And I was sort of missing that, like,
which is kind of a rip-off of The Ring.
Oh yeah, no. The genesis of these type of films are like
there's a curse. Well, it's a chain.
I know a curse movie, but the one that I think in the subconscious of like most film goers is Ringu, or the American remake of The Ring. Although I'm sure that's been even before that.
And then there was that sinister one with the people hanging from the trees. You watch that tape and you get it or something. I forget exactly.
Yeah, so it's like those were very object based, and this is more like a person based. Like a person is like actually cursed.
I like how they get into minds, like because It Follows doesn't really get inside your mind. Like,
yeah,
it shows the person following you, but this gets like hallucinations and like
there's a whole mind fight at the end of this, just like what was that other movie that we saw,
1408 or something.
No, the one with the woman with the monster in the back of her head, the one that everybody liked.
Wait, no, don't spoil it for people.
Okay, I'm just saying there's a mind fight in that movie.
Yeah, there's a mind fight in this, and I don't know, I liked it. Like, it was kind of cool. Although it does not turn out well for her.
No, it does. It's weird because it's sort of like a hopeless horror movie.
It really faked me out, though. I really thought, okay, I guess she won. Like,
I thought something else would happen towards the end, but I kind of figued, like, to me, it felt a little bit.
It seemed too easy
pointless
when she won, and I was like, something else happened.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, no, it's going to be fucked up.
But I didn't think that it was a complete fake out.
I like detective movies within horror movies where you're trying to figure out what's going on. I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes whether I do like when the answer is revealed, like why something is supernatural or why it isn't. I guess it depends on the film. Like this, there's no real answer of why it begins. They're just trying to figure out how it's connected. And I
guess
thought it was
if they follow the chain back enough, they'll figure it out.
I thought it was pretty smart how they figured out what was going on, and the relative wackiness of this lady trying to explain to people that she's cursed by a demon or entity, which is pretty funny. Yeah. I don't know why the monster had to kill the cat. I guess it's to make her look crazy. I don't know. I mean,
and that fucking little kid is all fucked up now.
Yeah, I wish there was more stuff showing, the entity fucking with her, because it was mostly like the entity fucked with her maybe twice.
Yeah, I agree. I wish there was a little more of that.
A little more of that to show her really going crazy and stuff like that, but. I guess that wasn't really an option, but the film looks very cinematic. It
like when she was in the car with the cop. Like, right. I was thinking, wouldn't it be great if she freaked out and caused a car accident?
Right. And this was like a very beautifully shot film. Like, it looks gorgeous. I was thinking of another movie that I hope you watch sooner than later, called The Empty Man, which is very much like a cursed film itself. And that movie shot like I already did the review for that, but go
also,
watch The
Empty
Man. It's
kind of like, although this movie wasn't that great, but that Daniel Isn't Real movie.
Oof, yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that.
People love that movie. That's the weird thing. Like,
I
people
remember
love that
thinking
movie.
It was okay. You definitely disliked it more than me.
Yeah, but I remember in Daniel Isn't Real, they had that typical like what a 1990s channel like CW thinks of an artist, like the girl being a rebel and destroying her piece, like that kind of horse
all
shit.
that aside, though, the concept of a mind demon.
The concept is cool, but the demon in that movie itself, I thought was just like, oh, it's like a fake Patrick Bateman. It's like a good looking guy who's like, and for me, it didn't work. It was just bad. But yeah, curse movies either work or don't. For the most part, they kind of all fit a certain sort of line of storytelling, and this does that as well, where a woman will or a main character will.
But it is really
look
hopeless
crazy.
Because if a fucking trained psychiatrist can't master her own mind, and even when she does master it, she still can't defeat the thing, then there's no hope for anybody else.
I was kind of bored a little bit by the sister's melodrama, because we do find out that her mother had mental illness, so that's a good explanation of why the sister won't believe it. She probably just thinks that she's has a mental illness issue herself.
Yeah.
But I was just like, all right. I was like waving my hand at the screen, even though in reality,
The movie's a little too long, and not enough.
It is. It's 2 hours. It's like an hour and 55 minutes, and I think this could have been.
And like
chopped
you said,
out
there
by
should have been
half an
more
hour.
scares in there. Like honestly,
Yeah,
if
make
they
it more
trimmed it down by
scary.
20 minutes and added like one or two more scares, it would.
I will appreciate that. I think the director was going for mood over just cheap jump scares, although there are cheap jump scares in the movie.
I mean, he nails the mood. In my opinion, I think it's very creepy.
Like shots that really stuck out for me were the parts where like when her and the and her ex-boyfriend, the cop, are driving, and you just see that long shot of the car driving down. I don't know why I like that shot, but the car. It reminded me of a scene in Ghostbusters. It's probably like the only most serious.
Oh, when
scene
they're talking about the end of the world.
Right. Yeah. Thank you for remembering that.
I love that scene.
I don't know what that's the only scene in Ghostbusters that is completely seriously done. And I was like, man, fuck, that's great. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I honestly, Ghostbusters is fucking a masterpiece.
It is a masterpiece. And then I guess they made that new one and nobody gives a shit about it. But then anyway, so I was watching the shots in this, and like the scenes when the actual creature, like the creature itself reminds me of the thing from, if you've seen Barbarian, it's a very similar looking creature.
What do you mean if I've seen it? We fucking talked about it.
I'm just talking in people in general.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to sound bad here, but the monster in this movie sort of looks like a 9-foot Caitlyn Jenner.
Oh my god!
Can you imagine? God forbid if it was driving a giant car too. Then it'd be
I love when the monster fully reveals itself.
Yeah, that part is great. Like the monster itself looks like I guess it's supposed to be a mutated version of her mother, right?
Yeah.
And I'll give him props.
I think it's just a mutant version of your worst fears.
Right. So it's the same thing that happens.
Your worst traumas, actually.
It's the same thing that happens in It Follows when the girl's being attacked by her father at the end of that. You know what I mean? In this one, I give him credit for finding an actor who looks like the mother who plays her looks like the actress Sosie Bacon, and then also when she's like a little girl, the actress looks like her too. It's all in the nostril casting, I guess. And so yeah, I like my favorite part is obviously casting. When she's making Rose Cotter's mouth stretch out like really wide. Like that part I like, because then they have this weird like musical cue of like a voice going backwards. Like I thought that was great. Like I was like, wow, this is cool. I wish the whole movie was more stuff like this, like disturbing. Like that's like what I liked about Sinister with who's that great actor? Ethan Hawke. Yeah. Because like if that movie didn't have Ethan Hawke in it and it had that fucking cheap Mr. Boogie character,
that movie was super generic.
It is, but Ethan Hawke like brought it over the top because he's like a really good actor. Same as Black Phone. Like Black Phone is a generic horror movie, but because Ethan Hawke's in it, he makes it really good.
Who hated it and thought it was the worst movie ever.
Oh yeah, no, I can understand. I can understand people thinking it's like a really bad movie, but I thought there was
thinking
parts
back,
of it.
remember that like that one guy's like, I'm gonna kick his ass or whatever. Like
it's very generic. It's very.
That movie is like a little above average, a really bad generic movie, but not.
But it's because Ethan Hawke, like if you have a very good actor that can carry a project on their shoulders, then they'll make it really great. Yeah. But back to this, like I think across the board, all the actors are really great. Even like Trevor, Jesse T. Usher's good in it. Although I keep getting taken out.
Asshole.
I know it's just the thing that like I don't think he was an asshole. I think like I would legitimately like if you were your girlfriend, or your boyfriend.
If I was engaged to someone and they were saying shit like that, at the very least I would pretend to believe them, even if I didn't, I would pretend.
Oh, okay. No, I know what you mean.
Pain.
Yeah, people show their hands a little bit too early in real life, like I mean in movies at least, because like I think you need to, for a stupid audience, to be like, oh, he doesn't believe her, But in real life, you're like, oh yeah, that's crazy. Wow. Oh, you saw a demon? Oh boy. And then you like, holy fucking shit! I gotta go call somebody. This is crazy.
You know what did it really well? What did I just see? Oh, Pearl. Yeah.
Oh, you did see Pearl. Okay.
I did see it. The friend that's like, oh, okay, I gotta go. Like, and like she was.
Yeah, that was good. Like,
I thought that was great. That's
you
exactly how I would have reacted. Yeah.
Since you weren't on the review with us, you can give you like 5 seconds. What did you think of Pearl?
I really liked it. I have to say,
I did too.
It was above average. But
Yeah.
the end credits were my favorite end credits I've ever seen.
I was saying that it looked like, Jim Carrey's character from
You were
Living
telling
Color,
me from
the Fire Marshal
And
Bill.
you made me go back and watch it. I watched it.
But I like Pearl. I thought like in some ways it was better than X. At least
it
the
was
story time.
absolutely better than X.
And I think that sorry if we're not spoiling Pearl for you guys, but I just wanted to say like it's legitimately a good movie. And I think like because you know how we were kind of like, oh my god, if we saw Art the Clown from Terrifier, it's scary. But I thought like her performance in that was so fucking like when she went off like to 11, I was like this
she was good,
fucking frightening. Like she was really good.
The end credits, I can't.
Yeah, go watch Pearl.
That vibe of end credits. That vibe is my favorite vibe.
Yeah, and if you want to hear more about it, me and Thea did the episode, so go check out that episode. But back to this film. So it's been a good year for horror, at least 2022, of like new, different types of films.
Yeah.
And so this one, what did you think of the gore? Was the gore fine? I think it wasn't graphic.
It was okay. There wasn't too much.
Very digital blood like stuff, which is like I
would
don't like
love
that,
if
but
there was more practical effects, a little more violence, and a few more scares, and like 20 minutes shorter. It would be perfect.
I didn't see the reason for Dr. Madeline Northcott, the psychiatrist, I guess was from her youth, because she kind of just comes in and Rose is like,
I guess it was to do that big fake out.
I guess I guess the doctor knew that she let her mother pass away or something, and she like dug into that. I don't think the sister ever knew that she killed her mother. Not killed her, but wasn't it? She was like in Batman Begins, where like they're on a train and Batman could save the bad guy and goes, "I'm not gonna kill you, but I'm not gonna save you," and he just jumps in. I'm like, well, that's basically like killing the guy if you can help him. But Ra's al Ghul. But so I thought that was interesting that she let her mother pass away because her mother's so mentally ill and like fucked up the whole family. Although it doesn't make sense because she was dreaming about it as a child, right? Wasn't the I guess because the sister said she left before.
Yeah, the sister left.
Mother died, but she was in the beginning, wasn't she? I think there might be a fuck up in there somewhere.
I don't know.
Because I'm pretty sure you hear the sister's voice when the mother's like dying.
That doesn't mean that it happened at the same time, though. That could have been another memory.
I'm not sure, but she was a dead body in the beginning of the movie. So, and you hear the sister's voice. So
maybe
somebody
she called
fucked up.
the sister or something. I
guess. Anyway, but I think that was interesting. It was a nice cameo, or I guess not a cameo, but a scene with I think it's Rob Morgan. He was the guy who had the curse on him, but he had to kill somebody
that murdered someone.
Yeah, he had to kill someone to cause trauma for the ghost to continue. And if you've watched any of Netflix Marvel shows, he played a recurring character in all of them. He was like this asshole, like a thief or a grifter on that show. And he appeared on basically all the Marvel Netflix shows. He's a fun character. I felt like
I recognized him, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
you know what?
He's a good actor.
Just like, okay, like hypothetically, what if you just killed yourself?
Yeah, but if then there'd be no movie. Like you don't want to die.
I'm just saying. Imagine if you got it. Like you just kill yourself alone. Right?
Yeah, I guess that could be a way to do it.
Or could the ghost know you're going to do that and stop you?
I guess it could be like if it plays with reality, like the part where her sister runs on her head, flips around, which was ruined for me with the trailer because they show that shit in the fucking trailer. They shouldn't have showed that in the trailer. I like that shot too when it like pulled away from her in the car screaming and then it pulled to the side. Like that was great. But I think maybe it knows. I'm not sure. But I like the idea that it was a ghost that lives through trauma, and she should have done something. I was like, oh, she's gonna kill her sister and let the little boy see it, something like that. Which I'm glad they didn't because that poor kid had enough seeing that cat. I think it's sort of like The Ring. You ever seen the original remake?
I've seen both.
Okay, so the original remake, like people were saying, I think the original ending for that was to drive off and visit like a really bad criminal in prison and show him the video so that way he's cursed.
Okay.
And so that way, like, but they cut that out of the ending just to make, so I guess they can make Ring Part 2. So like something like that, if she had killed like a criminal and let another criminal in it, then, you know, that would have
So
been
she
cool.
could do a Dexter.
Yeah. But, and then, you know, be free of it. But in this one...
But somebody has to witness it. That's the thing.
Yeah, so go into a room with two criminals. Imagine being a criminal, like, one guy's like a slaughter of women, the other guy just, like, steals, like bed sheets and shit, and the bed sheet guy's the one who gets cursed. But yeah, obviously they're setting it up for a sequel. It's obviously gonna have a fucking part 2, because then they can.
Well, the thing is, that guy knows what's up though from the beginning. So will he be able to get out of it?
The cop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if he. Yeah. So now he knows. So I guess it's gonna be him doing it. But I'm sure he could find a criminal and do it too. Like, what's the point? Then he doesn't have to follow him anymore. But I did love that shot where he's watching, you know, her immolate, and then like she's reflected in his eyes. I thought that was
I'm not
pretty
gonna
cool.
make my joke. I was considering making a joke about the cop killing somebody, and I'm not.
Okay, it would have been easy. The movie's over in the first 10 minutes. Just kill it. Say, hey, wait a minute. Is your shoes not tied? You just shoot him.
Did your tail lights out?
Hey, wait a minute. Are you breathing the same air as I? But I think it's all right. It's like it's one of those old school hopeless horror movies. I guess most horror movies are.
I love
hopeless.
hopeless horror movies.
And I think it's directed really well. I thought it could have been a little bit shorter. I think it could have been a lot shorter.
Could have been shorter for sure.
The actors are very good. I thought that the look of the film is beautiful. I wasn't impressed by the actual creature itself, although I like the creature without the skin, like the creature by itself when it was like.
Yeah, that was cool.
I wish there was more surreal horror in this film, because obviously they're very capable of it, especially with that scene, you know, when it pulls off its face and it looks like this weird, like, gross shit.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool. Well, what worked for you and what didn't work for you?
All of the scenes you just said were great. I like the contortioning mother going through the hallway scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's too much empty. There's too much like dullness. It needed to be compacted more, or
Okay,
more
so
stuff happening.
So you can find that video online. Laura Hasn't Slept. So this is actually like continuation of that short film.
How long is it?
I'd say like 10 minutes or something. It's the same character from the beginning of this movie as the one who gets cursed in that one. So you see her actually get cursed. So I did like her going to that little house at the end. This movie is a mishmash of a lot of other horror movies, and they hide it well enough. So obviously It Follows.
The actors are all good. I'll say that.
I don't think it ripped off Barbarian because it came out at the same time. Just the creature design, but the creature design is very generic. The house at the end could almost be like the Blair Witch house at the end of that movie, but I think it works. I wasn't like criminally offended by this movie. I thought it was a little too long, but I think all in all, I think I would give this movie about a 7 out of 10. Hanging out with your ex-boyfriend and cursing him inadvertently. Danny, what rating would you give Smile 2022?
But to be clear though, every person who gets cursed had to have had a childhood trauma in their
No.
past.
You just is it? I didn't get that from that. I think it's just a creature that you have to witness trauma, which it lives on trauma.
Well,
like,
yeah, they witnessed suicide, but do they have to have also had?
No,
their
that
own
has
trauma?
to be the trauma. Like that has to be the trauma that inflicts it. It's not. Like
I didn't know if
past
they
trauma or
had
anything
to also have a troubled past or something. Okay.
No.
Also, why didn't the cop just turn around, knowing what was up? I would be like, okay, and I would turn around really quick, so that way you don't see it.
And then the monster goes, hey, wait a minute. You see the monster goes behind me. Hey, hold on a second. We turn around. Look at this.
Around to
What
get
you
to
look
the
at me?
other side
Come
of the
on,
cop,
look at me.
And the cop's just closing his eyes.
And the cop's like, no, I'm not looking. Hey, he's not fair. I didn't like
This
the voice.
isn't fair.
Thanks for reminding me. I didn't like the voice of the monster. It was just like a, don't you shriek. And I was like, oh, get out of here with this cheap shit. So, Danny, what rating would you give?
Okay,
Smile 2022?
I give it an 8 out of 10.
Ooh.
Taking off your mommy skin and becoming a big skin dog monster and going inside your daughter's mouth.
Ooh. And Danny, what's the final word?
Frown.